It's a live studio. You can expect anything. If you just joined us, this is This Morning on ITV. You just saw that interview with Owens, how to be a giver, because life without giving is no life at all, because in life you have to give, and of course you have to take. Giving and taking, they are all part of life. Commemorating World Humanitarian Day, you have to live for humanity. Well, right now, this particular segment is all about ahead of 2023, the welfare of our local government. Do you still hear about them? Do you still see them doing those things they used to do way back? All right, we'll take a look at it holistically. For the national perspective, people have been complaining about it. Some are saying, look, we have to free the local government. And this time we have these harsh economic realities. This time also we are suffering from serious security challenges. We are suffering also from power scarcity. You just name it. It's like front, back, left, right, and center. We are trying to absorb the pressure, redirect the pressure so that we can maintain our sanity. How do you think the local government, they are faring, and what should be done to really make them tick once more? With me here in the studio, I have a one-time local government chairman, yes, councillor, Igor. Is it Ward 7? Ward 7, yes. And there was one time also an executive director, former Governor Aliu Shomole. Join me to welcome a very vibrant youth and entrepreneur, politician, Derek Ohuago. Welcome to TMI, today's edition.
Nice to be with you.
All right, very close to him is Emmanuel Okundoga here, a politician, an analyst, an economist. Talk about the blueprint, some of the things happening in Edo State in governmental level. I think he's one of the think tank. Yeah, the brain behind it. You get to hear about accruing revenue for the state. He was among the people that really sat down to draft the method, and you can really tell from what is really going on that it was a huge success because it's still succeeding. Thank you so much for coming on today's show. I appreciate you coming. He's also a politician willing to serve his people. Thank you so much, Emmanuel, for coming on today's show.
Good morning.
All right.
Good morning, viewers.
Yeah. Don't get it twisted. I have two Emmanuels in the studio. Join me to welcome Barrister Emmanuel Obakbolo, a legal practitioner, political affairs commentator, human rights activist. And when he starts talking, I like to say, watch your emotions. So please, Barrister, today, watch your emotions. Let me tell you beforehand. Welcome. Pleasure being here. All right. Let me start off with you, Barrister. The local government in this administration, since the inception of this administration, that should be like 8 years plus right now, how do you think they are faring?
The position just now is worrisome with respect to local government administration and the way the various states governors have treated and hijacked the administration of the local governments in Nigeria. Back to memory lane, the local government administration came into effect under the 1979 Constitution. The 1979 Constitution embraces the local government because the local government is the third tier of government. You have the federal government, you have the state government, and the local government. The 1979 Constitution, which embraces the American presidential style of governance, of government. So the 1979 Constitution did that, and also that metamorphosed into the 1999 Constitution just now. Section 7 of the 1999 Constitution provides for the local government as the third tier of government. But since 1999 to date, there has been this cry, there has been this call, there has been this shout, there has been this rumble for local government autonomy. And as it stands just now, we've not been able to see, the local government autonomy has not been able to see the light of the day. Though the President Muhammad Buhari administration some months ago tried to ensure that the local government gets financial autonomy. but with the superpower clip of the governors of the 36 states, that has not been made to see the light of the day. And also, more worrisome is because of the situation we find ourselves just now, the insecurity palaver that we find ourselves. The local government administration or the local government ought to have played a very important role, wherein these persons who commit all of these crimes dwell within and around the various local government. But the local government don't have that superpower, so to speak, to begin to see how they can curb. However, some of us, even the state government, will begin to give more burden, more responsibility to the various local government to see how they can make impact in trying to curb the state, the insecurity state we find ourselves. Okay. But one thing I want to tell you that they cannot, because when you want to fight insecurity, you need more of financial implications.
You need more financial implications.
Yes, and they don't have that will just now.
All right, I will come back to you, Barrister Emmanuel Obakpolo, and I would want to go to Barrister, Honorable Okunduga, not just yet. Let me come to Honorable Derek Ohunwago. After all, you were in the local government as a councillor and you served the people effectively. So, do you agree to what he said? He said right now the local government are not just doing good in this administration, talking about nationally. I wouldn't want to centralize it. Maybe later we'll start centralizing all this discussion. But take a look at Nigeria as a country and, of course, the welfare of the local government. 770-something, right? How do you feel about it?
74.
Yeah.
Well, let me quickly state that in support of what he said, that the local government is a generic term, or you can say a general term, for the lowest tier of public administration within a particular state. Basically, is geographically localized. It enacts its own taxes or tax bylaws. It's supposed to enact its own bylaws and enact its own taxes. And it's supposed to have its own security architecture. It's its own form of government, just like the federal or central government, but on a lower scale, because it has an executive, it has a legislature, it has a judiciary arm as well. So having said that, yes, I would say the local government is still under some form of gag, in that we cannot say that it fully has financial autonomy. But I'm also aware that a few months ago, the Edo State House of Assembly has passed into law the financial autonomy or the full autonomy for the Edo State local governments in support of the clamor that the National Assembly have always been, doing to ensuring that the local government is fully liberated to carry on its local administration without any form of restriction, mostly in relation to its finances. So right now, yes, we are on the path, I could say we are on the path to El Dorado. However slow the pace might be, I can say that the Nigeria local, or the Nigeria lowest tier of local administration is, well, I can say it's gradually getting there, and it will get there, God willing.
It's gradually getting there. This is as opposed to what Emmanuel Obakpolo Esquire talked about. I wouldn't want both of you to knock heads soon. Just hold on. I know you want to react. Now, let me go to Okunduga. Emmanuel, do you share their views or opinions, or you have a different angle from their opinions and views?
First, I share the views of the two speakers. But I have some parts where I need to say some things differently.
Okay.
First and foremost, I think we need to understand that the local government council is arguably the most important tier of government. The reason is because it is the government that is closer to the people.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of welfare, in terms of financial autonomy, in terms of good governance, have they fared well? The answer is no. And the other question is why? Now, my brother here talked about financial autonomy. I support full-scale autonomy, whether financial and administrative. I support fully. But there's a condition to that. I think first and foremost, we need to look at the local government. We need to ask ourselves some questions. How do we redefine a new model of accountable and transparent leadership that will build capacity for local government administrators and personnel for better service delivery? I think that is the first thing that we need to put in place. Because yes, we have autonomy. Autonomy is saying the local government is at its discretion over financial, over other administrative issues. Complete independence. Fine. Now, you can have autonomy and at the same time, the purpose, the essence of good governance is not in view. So what do you make out of that? So first, we should have responsible leadership that would build that how do I say it now? Effective leadership that will drive efficiency, economy, value for money, and good governance. So I think that should be the foundation.
So you're talking about leadership.
Leadership, yeah.
I'll come back to you on that. Barrister Manabakmalo, you heard him from what Derek Rono talked about. He said we're gradually getting to that point when local government will just heave a sigh of relief that yes, we've arrived. While Okundoga said, look, we need effective leadership. He said this is in for autonomy for local government, but with a caveat, the leadership. Take it up from there.
The dream of the local government getting to where it ought to be in Nigeria just now, for me, is mere utopia. And looking at the system we have and the caliber of leaders we have manning the affairs of the states is going to be an Herculean task. Because the local government, we've all agreed just now, that is the government that is closest to the people. No doubt about that. But Wilson, if you look at the structure of governance and governance in Nigeria just now, you will discover that the local government is only a arm tool of the state government. Take for instance, the state governors or the state government, as the case may be, conducts elections to the office of the chairman of the local government and the various councils in the local government. And that responsibility is vested on the state governors.
State governors?
Yes. Now, if you take it from there, you discover that a man whose responsibility is to conduct election to put somebody in a particular office at the local government will have his own interest first. In such situation, the man will feel that his interest is the overwhelming interest, in the sense that his interest is the interest of the people, whether or not the people accept that. So by the time the kind of political structure we have today in Nigeria, wherein one man can sit in the confines of his bedroom and tell some political leaders in his political party that, look, I will bring all the local government chairmen, you produce all the vice chairmen, then each of you Mr. XYZ, can bring so local government councillor, so ward councillor, and he begins to share that responsibility. Then you will find out that we are going to have difficulty in arriving at a situation where we will have transparency, like you did mention, where we will have absolute wonderful administrative role that will affect the lives of the commoners or the people at the background. So with all of this come together, you discover that we are going to have a very difficult situation in making the local government indeed a third tier of government that affects the people at the grassroots. Mind you, local government administration is a brainchild of the colonial lords. The colonial master, they introduced it into Nigeria, particularly between 1954 to 1966. The idea of local government administration came into being. And since then, it has been discovered that the local government administration or the local government as a third tier of government is the government closest to the people. Oh, but now, the way some persons, a few persons can just sit down and pick those to mount the administration of the local government, we'll see, we will not get anywhere. And that is why we find ourselves in this quagmire just now.
Okay, I will come back to you. He talked about some persons pulling the strings in the affairs of the local government. While Okunuga talked about leadership, he said, look, leadership comes directly from the governor. It's like you sharing. You call it kill and divide. What he alleged is the man at the top, vis-a-vis the governor, so to speak, would be like all the chairman of the local government, they'll be handpicked by me, according to him. While you can bring the vice and trickle down to the council. I said that is the bane of the local government. You've been there. So I have to bring it to your table right now. Did you experience this? Is it right in his assertion? Is that what is really going on right now in the local government? And is it going to hamper the development of the local government?
When you say people and pick people to represent their wards and local government in the council, that can only be in a situation where councillors are appointed, administrators are appointed as the sole administrator of the local government council, or as acting chairman in the local government council. But what we have presently is election. As I even speak, the guideline for the next local government election is out, that of Edo State, and the election, I think we come around January 12th or thereabouts. And the process is open for all to see. It's a democratic process where the various political parties will nominate representatives for councillor in the various wards and the representative for the council chairmanship position in the various local government council. I don't know about unpicking in relation to this. People,
Barrister Kamdawa, you're giggling.
People are free to approach the court when they feel that their interests or fundamental human rights have been trampled upon in relation to the electioneering process. Some time ago, a particular interest group within a particular political establishment went to court to put a hold on the local government election in Edo State. I think that's what delayed the local government election to this extent. So the judicial system is still there, which is the habitat or the hope of the common man, as it were, to address issues of unpicking of candidates.
Are you now saying that there are no issues like that in the local government?
There's no perfect system anywhere in the world. So I cannot say that there are no a little here left and a little right in the system. But what I'm trying to say is that people must be able to take advantage of the judicial system to right every wrong or any wrong that might be in the political system of our society. We have the executive, we have the judiciary, we have the legislative arm. All of these three structure or system of government are there to balance each other. So I'm not saying there might not be some issues, but what I'm trying to say is that people should exercise their rights. This society as it were, for example, A place like China was one of the worst places to live here on earth. In the past, a place like Europe was one of the worst places to live here on earth. One of their philosophers promulgated this philosophy of life is short and British because of the hardship that were inherent as it were then. But people came together and people were able to, like, we have activists here and there. These are they always call them the fourth is it
it's on the top line, yeah.
Of the government to address the various ills in the society. But I'm glad that our civil rights group are, coming up and they are waxing stronger in their pursuit of Eldorado in our society. And we must continue to do more to hold those rights that tend to still exist in our system. Like I said, the National Assembly have done their best to ensuring there's absolute, autonomy for the local government. And once that is fully in place, that means INEC will not be the one to conduct election for local government, no longer the state government. So like I said, the pace is slow, but we are gradually edging to that state of Eldorado.
Derek, you are slippery on this one, but I'll let you be. You are slippery. Some of these answers you were given, you were not like, straightforward, but you have your reasons for giving such answers.
And I have my reasons. Facts to back my argument. And I also said that, yes, I cannot say there is no issues here and there in the system.
All right.
But there are provisions to righting those wrong in the system. And we must take advantage.
All right. Mr. Emmanuel Kunduga, the boys right now in your quote, we're talking about leadership, we're talking about other aspects like economy and, of course, security. And we're talking about leadership. He alleged that there are some cases of handpicking. It starts from the top. He didn't mention any state. It was like the governor, so to speak. It's like, an open comma, so to speak, will pick and tell us to you pick the rest and all that. Do you see it being an impediment in any local government election?
All right. I would like to say that there's no perfect system anywhere in the world, right? And the Constitution is there to really guide everyone. Just like my brother said, that yes, that he strongly believes that in the long run we will get it right in terms of ensuring that INEC conduct local government election next year. Now, where we differ is this. I think it is not all about whether I'm picking or otherwise. But what is most important is how do we promote the social accountability project?
But it starts with leadership.
Yes.
Okay. And that's the person we're talking about right now. He opened a can of worm. They never went straight. It was like, this is what is happening. And Derek said, yes, there will be some shifts here and there. No system is perfect. It's like you are taking the same road or the same idea as Derek, saying that, yes, there might be some things, but go ahead.
Yeah. So I think there is need to promote a social accountability project by every stakeholders. All right. And the electorate, which they should know that they are critical stakeholders in the value chain governance. Now, how do we promote the social accountability project? I think the media, the civil service, civil society organization should play a critical role in educating, sensitizing the electorate on their rights and privileges. Now, Section 7 of the 1999 Constitution spells out some constitutional role that the local government are supposed to play in terms of provision and maintenance of primary, adult, and vocational education, provision and maintenance of public conveniences and waste disposal, and other permissive rules of function of the local government. All right? So, now, if we have an enlightened electorate who are there, who are competent, who know what they are supposed to demand for, I think that would be a stepping stone to getting it right in terms of what we are discussing here. So, most importantly, let the electorate know that their vote can buy them a servant who will construct roads, build schools, provide social amenities. If that sinks into the mind of the electorate, if we begin to get it right, and they should understand that it pays them more for them to buy the servant leadership from politicians, in quote, not the other way around, not the politicians buying their votes. So they should know that their votes pays more when they buy the servant leadership from the politicians, in quote. So I think when we take it from there, I think we will definitely get to the promised land in terms of good governance.
All right. I know you have so much to say, Barrister Manuel. The ball is in your court. Because when they're opining their own views, and of course, opinion, you're like shaking your head in disagreement with what they were saying. Take it up from there.
Yes, I am not amazed, and I can never be amazed when you find yourself in the midst of politicians. And they have this way of presenting issues to the general public. Like, for instance, politically, the politician will tell you, we will get there. It's a gradual step. There is nowhere where you have perfection. Of course, in life, as far as this earth is concerned, there is no way we will get perfection. We are not even talking about perfection just now. We are talking of the elementary aspect of our democratic system. The elementary aspect of it is the election. For instance, in a political party where the governor picks, or the political leaders, not particularly the governor, picks who is to be a candidate as provided by the Constitution. The Constitution will tell you no direct, indirect system. And in this indirect system, you have delegates, just as we saw in the last primaries of all the political parties in Nigeria. And we see the reliable that has visited all of us just now, wherein some persons went after collecting some nairas and dollars and pounds, then they now go for the highest bidder. And you say in that kind of system, we will gradually get to perfection. That is just impossible. The one we are talking about just now is the process, the elementary process to making the local government a third tier of government. A third tier of government that is closest and impacts the life of the people at the grassroots. That is all we are here to talk about. We are not here to talk about to begin to give excuses to why we think we are where we are and why we think we will gradually get to where we want to get to. That is not it. The thing is the impartation of the local government. The issue here just now is the impartation of the local government on the people as a government that is closest to the people. Now, that can only be achieved. The impartation of the local tier of government on the people starts from the selection, election, and appointment of the various candidates of the various political parties, who the people will now have choice to choose. Those who have told you, most times in this country, we have seen a situation where the people are left with nothing more than the phrase, you can pick between the devil and the deep blue sea. The people are always between the devil and the deep blue sea. In a situation where the people are always between the devil and the deep blue sea, you are talking of perfection, getting to perfection. We can never, ever get to perfection in that state. So what we are saying is that, one, until this local government autonomy absolutely, like Mr. Emmanuel said, absolutely is gotten. And the only way the local government can get absolute autonomy, it begins with financial autonomy. That's where it begins with.
All right.
It begins with financial autonomy. By the time the statutory allocation comes directly to the local government chairman, then we can now hold the local government chairman accountable. Right. But as it is just now, how many local government chairmen have been prosecuted?
Okay.
on account of financial misappropriation.
Okay, I'll come back to it now.
It's only when the governor is not in the good books of the governor.
All right, now still talking about the leadership, talking about the local government election, because Autonomy is already out. Derek, don't forget at one time they were still collecting results, but in various local governments they've not released any results. People are still there trying to gather the information. Here in Benin, they started announcing results from different agents. I mean, don't you think that is a high level of interference? Because collating, all of a sudden you get to hear a result being announced by the state's independent electoral commission. It happened in Edo State, and you're saying that there are no interference? You're saying that nobody is selecting anybody?
We'll see.
You were here when it happened.
We'll see. What you are alleging now is not different from what the barrister.
I am not alleging. I am not alleging. It's a question.
You have made your point.
Did it or did it not happen?
Can you allow me to respond?
Go ahead, respond, please.
Now, it's not different from what the barrister stated.
Yes.
You see, what you guys are trying to do is to demonize individuals. You made a point without adequate statistics to back it up. No date, no figure to back it up. That's the same thing the barrister have said. He said the people has made selecting candidates or selecting people to represent at the local government level, and it did not specifically mention the institution that is responsible for it, or the people that is responsible for it, or the time that it happened, and so on and so forth. And as far as I'm concerned, this is not a very responsible way to present matters. Having said that, I will continue to say that what we have in Nigeria is not what we want. Even the blind can see it. The deaf can hear it. There's an adage in Benin that that if there's too much depth in the soup, a blind man can see it. No doubt to that. But you see, some of us who are already trying to navigate that, step of leadership, we must do everything possible to be objective, to be pragmatic, and to present our issues cases in a logical manner. That's why I said that our system is not devoid of the ills in the society, but we are seeing some light at the end of the tunnel.
Which light? Yes, hold on. Which light? Because there's some light. Which light? I want to be specific about this.
Out.
Yes.
Like I said,
yes.
The National Assembly recently gave autonomy to all the local government councils, only to the extent that the state assembly of the 36 local of the states, pass it into law. And some time ago, as evil as some people or some of us we see the federal government of this present administration, you know that the federal government of this administration made it compulsory that allocation will go directly or must go directly to the council account, unlike in the past when it goes first to the state government account, where the accountant general and the commissioner of finance of the state will now call the local government chairman to now help them appropriate their allocation from the federal government. But at the moment of presently, it goes straight to the account. Go and verify. You can verify all you want. So my point is, what we have, we have the adequate system and the machinery to address all the issues in our society. But we do not have the will, to take the bull by the horn. And we also have narcissists, mostly in the areas of leadership in our country. The local government administration the issue is not about unpicking. No, it's not unpicking of candidates that is the problem of local government. The problem of the local government is people who are narcissists, who are narcissistic in nature, are those who are in the aims of affair of the local government. So once money comes, they think only of themselves.
Okay.
They will take their security appropriate it to themselves, then they will start over invoicing increasing the cost of the administration and the capital project of the local government, so that more of the finance of the local government will go to their pocket.
I'll come back to you.
The issues and challenges we have. Sorry, sir, just one last time. And there are solutions to this issue.
We'll come to solutions later. We'll come to it later. Just calm down, Derek. People will be like what a barrister says, politicians. I will just place you in the middle of
because we just want to say things without adequate statistics.
Derek, I like your last one. Say because we don't want to say things, we don't have adequate statistics. So I'll let you be for that. But don't forget that there were allegations really that particular time there was the collective result. Different security have a collective results. Before you know it, result is being announced by the government of the day. It happened in Edo State. I say that you don't have adequate information about that. I understand where you are coming from as a politician. Let me let you be. Let me let you be. Because it all goes out to what Barrister Obama is saying. Interference. Interference. No. I'm asking a question because all of you are talking on this particular issue because the local government election is fast approaching. It is fast approaching. And let's come to a very sensitive issue, security. In some parts in Edo State, and across in various parts in Nigeria, we've seen one form of disturbance or the other occasioned by either kidnappers, bandits, terrorists, killer headsmen, you just name it, and people are scared to come out to vote. You get to hear the forests are not safe. We cannot go to farm. We cannot bring forth our goods and services to the urban area because the rural area is under siege. Okunduga, do you think this will impact on the local government election? If yes, is it going to be positive or negative?
All right. Yeah. Let me start by saying that security is a key imperative for economic growth. That's a statement of fact.
Yeah.
And again, in terms of the 2023 election, describing it will definitely affect in its negative form. Now, let's look at the issue of security as it affects good governance in terms of provision of agriculture. There's a nexus between security, adequate security and food security. All right. So, and why you see that most of our brothers, mothers, fathers are not going to the farm anymore, and has impacted negatively on food production. All right. That is on one side. Then on the issue of the election, life is first. God gives life to every one of us, and the primary duty of every government, of any responsible government, is to provide safety and security for its citizens. And I tell you, if nothing is done, if holistic approach is not taken to combating effect of insecurity that is ravaging the society, you will experience low turnout. Okay? That's on one side. And again, let's look at the issue of these supposed thugs. They tell you party thugs, party agents and all that.
Yeah.
And we pray that with the enlightenment that is going on, we should be able to say no to election violence. I think it is the responsibility of all the political party leaders to begin to sensitize and educate everyone on the need to be peaceful and to say no to violence, to say no to thuggery, to say no to even vote buying, which undermines the legitimacy of our electoral process.
We'll come to vote buying later. Now, zooming in on security challenges. We'll come to vote buying, but you've made a very valid point in terms of security. Barrister, I mean, it's like it's biting so hard in our country. You go to the north, according to reports, speculations, allegations, you just name it, some local government have been sacked. It was only Erufai that came out to say, look, bandits are not running power of government in my state. It was so open about it. Many governors would not want to admit it, but they came out to admit it. And this is a situation in some local government in this country. Come to Edo State, you get to some clans and some villages, they have similar situation when you talk about intrusion of external bodies, foreigners coming to disrupt the peace and tranquility in that particular locality. Local government election fast approaching. Is it going to have a positive or negative impact in the election?
Negative, absolutely. Now, let me start by saying, Mr. Derrick said some of us demonize the politicians. That may not be correct. The thing is that I did say here that the politicians have a way of presenting issues. I have my own style of presenting issues.
All right.
I wouldn't want to see myself aligning or kin with the politician. Now, El-Rufai once upon a time, when these purported bandits, terrorist metamorphosed bandits by the government, started with their disturbance. When the report came to him and questions were asking, the man said they were comedians. Quote. He said they were comedians. Months later, the man has come to tell us that they are running parallel government with him in the state. In Niger State, local government inhabitants and residents pay tax to the terrorists. In Kaduna State, local government inhabitants and residents pay tax to the bandits, whether you are a farmer, whether you are not a farmer. To the extent just now, in some of these states, the terrorists are now settling disputes amongst inhabitants and residents. And somebody will come and tell you, don't say it. That is not correct. They are comedians. Somebody who has gone to the extent of seizing power, constitutional power from the government, and you are referring to that person or persons as comedians?
But it changed his view later on.
He changed his view because the heat is now coming to him. I don't want to say certain things here just now until the appropriate time. Perhaps because the general election is getting closer. They want to give us excuse. Let us leave that. Now coming to Edo State, villages, communities like Ogonu, very close here, Ekiadolo, Okokwo, all those communities, we even saw to the extent a former attorney general of this state led protest with respect to the insecurity in those communities. What have we heard from the government? The way you talk, they say, oh, you are demonizing the politicians. Constitutionally, section 14, subsection 2, gives the government a very primary and dutiful responsibilities to provide welfare and security for the people. Today, the government has shifted the welfare and security to the people. The Zagamani saga in Borno State, where after the farmers were killed, the Minister for Information started telling us that they did not take license from the military. We heard that in this country. In this country, we have heard so many things. We have heard how recently the one making the rounds now, termites have
Vouchers, yes, and receipts, yeah.
In this local government in Edo State, we have seen that the local government election has been fixed for January 12 or 14 or so. And now, there is need for the politicians to go into the various local government, into the bushes, they once abandoned. The village called bushes, they abandoned. They will go and campaign now. When they are going, they will go with catalog of security details. So after the campaign, they will still abandon the people until when the election is getting closer, results will emanate from those communities. How did the result come about? When elections are not held there. So these are questions begging for answers. That is why we are saying, secure the state, secure the local government. It will be for your own betterment. For goodness sake, all of us, we have an opportunity to write our name on the sand of time. If you deliberately, consciously refuse to write your name on the sand of time and come on air in ITV television and tell us you people are demonizing us.
No, don't take it personal.
No,
don't take it personal.
You are getting it wrong.
All right.
It's not applicable to one person.
But I get us on his feeling right now. Don't take it personal.
Okay, I withdraw that.
Thank you.
Now, to begin to give us excuses, as we hear, or as the politicians do just now. If the local government, the 774 local government is secured, to whose benefit?
I'll come back to you on that. Security. I know when they said that demolition, you were like, yeah, man, calm down. Calm down. That's how to step in. No one is attacking you.
I'm not.
Derek, calm down. So, security situation. He talked about campaign. Of course, people are going to campaign, but he mentioned one thing: they are going to these hinterlands to campaign. They are backed up by security personnel. After that, they leave the people the way they met them. Security challenges ahead of the local government election. Take it up.
Well, I will take it on from a national front. The issue of security in Nigeria, you know, many of us seem not to understand that it started with the hope that some people were going to achieve certain sinister aim, however it might be to them. But later it boomeranged. When the administration of this current administration started, the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari started, one of the first things that he did was to demolish all the toll gates in this country. I don't know if anybody remembers. And people were not able to dot the I. Was it not Buhari that?
No, Obasanjo.
Obasanjo?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. People were not able to dot the I and the T's in relation to that. The toll gate served as a check and balance for security in the various entry and exit points of each state. But a government came and demolished it. And you recall that the toll gates, each of the toll gates have military personnel, immigration, custom official, and so on and so forth. And once, before you go through that toll gate, you must be checked, be it daytime or nighttime. That was a systematic way to ensuring our various state security, was effective. But a government came and demolished it. And people did not question the rationale behind demolishing it, other than to say that there was no accountability for the toll that were being collected there. If there was no accountability, the system should have been changed. Now, today, people can carry arms, heavy arms, light arms, from one state or from one region of the country to another without being checked. And you will also recall that in this same country, there was a clamor some time ago that the police and security personnel should go back to the federal highways, because most of the time, anything from 11 p.m., you will not see any security men. Even when you are traveling from Sokoto to Lagos, it will be free for all, and people are able to carry whatever they want to carry from one part of the country to the other. So, what am I trying to say? That was the beginning of our security woes. And if you recall, as soon as that toll gate was destroyed, started seeing the infiltration of bandits and hoodlums from one region of the country to the other. So the government need to go back to their drawing board to ensure that there is a stop and check in every boundary of every state of this federation. Having said that, the security problem of Nigeria is not only an economic or social challenge, it is also reflecting on our administrative flaws. The Nigeria Police currently have a budget. The budget of the Nigeria Police is huge, but a large part of that budget is to ensuring that they are able to police effectively. As we speak, many of the divisions of Edo State Police Command have no vehicles, no patrol vehicles. If you have distress call in my immediate constituency in Uselu, whatsoever, Police of Okoro will not have vehicle to come down to that location. So that is a challenge. And the Nigerian police is supposed to be under the sole sponsorship of the federal government. But the federal government make budget for this purpose. The police commission and the IG, Inspector General of Police, between those two offices, we do not know what happens there, so that the money does not trickle down to the division. So what am I trying to say? The divisional police now pushes their responsibility to the local government. The local government council that is not able to pay salaries to their staff are the ones who now provide vehicles for police. And mind you, the local government receive the lowest part of our national revenue. The federal government gets more than 50%, while the local government gets less than 25%. Yet from this little, they are not able to pay salary, their own salary, and they are also having the challenge to provide security apparatus for the divisional police, because they are the people who feel the brunt of security challenges in their location.
So in relation to the local government election?
In relation to the local government election, I don't see an immediate solution to it. The solution that we are to be profiled for this challenge, security challenge, is a holistic one. In that Nigeria should go back to its drawing board to making provision for local government to have their own policing architecture, for the state government to have its own police architecture, and so on and so forth. Governments and countries that are succeeding with their security, this is exactly what they have on ground. Local government should control the vigilante police, wherein they can metamorphose into the sheriff system of policing.
Thank you.
The state will have their own state police, and the federal government will have its own federal police.
All right. Now, Okunuga, for what is suggested, right, do you think it can be done on time for the local government election to come peacefully, organize security architecture to prevent any form of disruption? Because many are saying, even if the local government election starts next month, in 2 months' time, or 3 months' time, or even next year, many will be disenfranchised. Take it up from there.
All right. Now, first, I just have to make a chance to my barrister almost allowed emotion to get the best of him. I believe we are all.
I think we've gone past that already.
This is to also address the issue.
So I think the issue of security is global.
Yeah.
You know? And I believe that yes, something can be done differently. And what can we do differently? First and foremost, ahead of the
Local government election.
Fine. At the local level, yes, my brother here talked about the fact that the federal government, there's a budget, it's a federal budget, security budget for security.
Yeah.
It's a,
Security votes.
Security vote. But what is being done with it? How can, what is their, how are they accountable for the usage of the fund? That's one issue. Now, at the local level, we can strengthen the existing security architecture. Security is not for one person. It is a collective responsibility. It's not for one person alone. Everybody in the local government. What can be done differently? Strengthening this existing security architecture of the local government. Let's have personnel. The youths are there. Let's have youths who are tech savvy. We can leverage technology to addressing the issue of insecurity. All right? We can even, the issue of technology using the Alpha drone. Yes, how much is it? Are we saying that the local government will not be able to afford maybe 5 to 10 million Alpha drone to survey, to other surveillance in major flashpoints? That's an issue we need to talk about. That's one. Then again, the state government, well, to be frank, let me just be candid with you. The state government has taken steps in the right direction, built its own security architecture, could name Operation Wabasiga. I think we need to give credit to the state government on that. Yes, it may not be 100%. No, I just need to tell you the fact.
Yeah.
It may not be 100%, but steps have been taken. So if at the local level, the personnel at local level, they are grouped to fighting bandits, leveraging technology, and supporting them with stipends on a consistent basis. I think it will go a long way to ensuring peaceful election come January 14th, when the local government election will be done. So
you heard him. He gave credit to the state governor, talking about those states, whereby Zega Vigilante. And of course, in ASA land, we have the ASA, that is ASA Security Association Network. They are there working. Even in I got to hear waves that are beginning to form. Do you think all the security outfits will be enough to ensure adequate security when the election would take place? And after the election, what next?
They will go back to their hiding places.
I didn't tell you to answer the last question first. Answer the first one.
Go back to the hiding places. You know what I will say?
Yeah.
Security matter cannot be handled by individuals, especially with the times we have just now. A man is bearing AK-49. They no longer even bear AK-47. They are now bearing AK-49. And you are telling a vigilante man who is bearing gun to go and challenge somebody with AK-49. I don't see how that is possible. My brother here is talking of Alpha drone. By the local government, how much is allotted to the local government? The statutory allocation, how much goes to the local government? The local government, mind you, they have staff to pay. And you are telling the local government to come and afford Alpha drone.
But the state government can do it for them. Can the state government do it for the local government?
I think
it's a partnership.
between the state government
and the local government. Oh, fine.
You know what new dictionary grammar for the Nigerian politicians just now is that phrase they call synergy. They use it.
There should be synergy, really.
You know what? When it comes to responsibility, they look for the word synergy. But when it comes to their benefits, they jettison the people. They don't synergize the people along. What have we benefited? What has the people benefited? For goodness sake. See, security matter until we sit down to call it the name it is. We will just be going around the table with no results. And that is why today, the law will say terrorists, but the politicians will prefer to call them bandits. Because they want to reduce the degree of crime or offense being committed. See, let me tell you one thing. We are just deceiving ourselves over here. The politicians know where the problems are. Englishman says, a problem known is half solved. They know where the problems are and they know the solutions to the problem because the politicians created the problems.
That is very weighty.
For instance, a man came into power and came with a policy of visa at point of entry. For goodness sake, how do you checkmate somebody who can only apply for a visa at the point of entry? How do you checkmate that person? That is one. Two, these persons don't come through the toll gates like we have painted here just now. They come through the forest. And the forests are only being occupied for some time by the farmers who go to farm. And these farmers go with their working tools. And a man visits them with AK-49. And you say the farmer should not run. The farmer should borrow other legs and take to his heels. Until, I repeat, we give this problem the name it is, we will not get the solution to it. Right. Coming to tell me that we are going to synergize, well, I will not be a party to that synergy just now because I cannot carry bear cutlass and face a man that bears AK-49. That is the position.
Wow. Intrigues. Politicians and a legal practitioner in the studio. Some are saying it's not a perfect mix because a legal practitioner will always say something that will favor to the politician. Politician, on the other hand, also will try to shield and defend their opinions and, of course, their points. Some of the opinion that the reason why we are suffering from these insecurities that some local governments did not hit the ground running because they don't have a chair. They don't have a leader. They don't have a councillor group, forming the assembly to pass laws and do so many things for the local government to be secured. How true is this assertion? After all, we are once a local government councillor. Derek.
Yeah, the local government not having the grip. Before then,
you are sounding so tired. Don't let Popolo wear you down, please.
Let me state that and make it very clear that when you say a barrister and a politician is not a perfect mix, it's actually supposed to be a perfect mix.
But it's not right now in the studio.
A barrister, a lawyer, is supposed to speak from a very practical angle, an angle that is tenable in law and in the face of a practical argument.
And the politician?
And the lawyer does not speak from a passionate angle. He's always dispassionate, following issues as it is, as he ought to be. With records, with figures, with statistics. You cannot just say you be thief, and you cannot state where and where that person stole. So that's not the position of a barrister. But yet, it's even the politicians who actually point accusing finger without facts, who are supposed to do it more. But having said that, the politicians in the local government, when you say they did not hit the ground running or they are handicapped, the local government administration have been handicapped because they do not have the elected councillors and chairmen managing affairs of the local government. Well, it's a point. It's a point, no doubt, because there are limitations to which the civil servants, can do. There are some things that they cannot do as a result of their limitations. They are there on capacity acting, in place of, of the politician. Just like the permanent secretary acting when there is no commissioner. But there are some things that he or she would not be able to do, no doubt. That the council are supposed to have personnel manning it, elected personnel who are answerable to the people that elected them. Because what I call politics to be, or elected position, I see it as a position where all the electorate will gather their power and give you through their thumbprints. And they are gathering this power and giving it to you means that you will now use the whole of this power together and work for their benefits, for their interests. And whatever you do, your policies, the things you execute, will reflect the face of these people. Whenever you are going to do anything, you are going to pass any law, or you are going to implement any project, you will have to first of all supposed to sit down to reflect, would this thing be for the utmost interest and benefit of these people? If yes, you will also have to sample opinion. A responsible government.
It has been, the 2023 election and, of course, the welfare of the local government, knowing fully well the elections of the local government, especially in Edo State, in Osun State, is fast approaching, and stakeholders are meeting to make sure that it's going to be a huge success. Even other states are beginning to follow suit. But the question now is, with the economic harsh realities on the ground, the insecurity we are experiencing, do you think it's going to be a smooth process? What are the factors that may contribute positively or negatively to the forthcoming local government elections? And of course, I have Mr. Emmanuel Kondoga with me in the studio, Barrister Mano Bakbalo, and of course, Honorable Derek Ohunwago. They've been sharing their thoughts and of course their opinions on this particular discourse. Gentlemen, we have 1 minute each to summarize our points. Let me start up with Barrister I have a reason. Starting from you, Barrister, go ahead. 1 minute. What do you think should be the way forward?
The way forward is, with respect to the local government should be given all-round absolute autonomy so that we can now hold the local government chairmen and councillors responsible. There also, the conduction of election, local government election, should be conducted by INEC and not the various state governments.
All right. Thank you so much. Okunduga, your last line.
Yeah, for me, for the welfare of the local government, so there is need to redefine a new model of accountable and transparent leadership. That is very, very key. And to build advocacy for good governance at the grassroots level. And again, the electorate should not say their votes. They should know that their votes can buy them servant leadership that can help them build roads, build roads, construct
markets and make economy better.
Exactly, and other social amenities.
All
I
right.
think that is what is key. And once that is done, I see a strong, united local government administration.
All right. Derek, your last line.
The local government in itself has almost nothing to offer currently. But we have a duty to ensure that all the stakeholders at the national and state level, to give them their absolute autonomy for them to be able to deliver quality governance to the people. And in relation to the forthcoming election, we cannot just now immediately have solutions for the security challenges. Like I said, it is holistic. The local government should have its own security architecture. The state should have their own, and the federal government should have their own. Until this is achieved, there is hardly anything we can do with the security structure that will be effective, as it were.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Well, you've heard them can just go on and on talking about local government election. But mind you, when you talk about electioneering, it's all about you. Like what Mr. Manuel Okunduga talked about, do not sell your vote due to time constraints. Couldn't delve into that vote buying. It happened in the primaries of the APC, PDP, according to allegations. Yeah, is it going to happen right now in the local government election? It's going to go to the highest bidder. We had enough time to really dive into it, but please, if you're having that mindset as a delegate or as a voter, you have to desist from such a mindset. Don't even cross your mind. Don't say take money, vote of conscience. No, don't take money at all. Despite the hard economic downturn, try to be yourself. Yes, it'll be difficult, but after that, you'll be the one to smile. Gentlemen, thank you once more for coming on today's show. I appreciate a wonderful analysis. Hope when I call on you next time, you will oblige. Thank you so much. And it's not about barrister and politicians. No, these are just friends sharing their own thoughts and opinions on this particular issue. See you next week, Sunday, God willing, on TMI. Bye for now.